Julie here with siriustalesmoon. This is Jupiter, our soul day. Jupiter is 20 degrees. Cancer in the 4th house. Moon is 27 degrees Cancer. Ascendant is ruled by Mars in 10 degrees Aries. And in midheaven is crossing Mercury and applying to Venus, Sun, Mars in Capricorn. Everybody probably is thinking about, is she in contact with reality? Has she gone crazy? Is she mental? No, it's not because you don't believe me. It's because I did not discuss Venezuela. And so let's do Venezuela natal chart. And let's go back to the 1500 because, hey, Aries is in Aries right now, and I don't fool myself that anything that's going to happen in Saturn Neptune conjoining in Aries, even in the 0 degree, is not going to be co-present with Aries in Aries. Even though Aries is in the end of Aries, and is going to mark a century that marks 5 centuries. So let's begin with the 1500 chart for Venezuela. For those of you who have been living on other planets, then on planet Earth, Venezuela is said to have publicly have a shit ton of oil, and United States kidnapped the president and spousey in order to take over the oil. I don't know how to translate the news otherwise. I mean, now I have to say, when Neptune ingressed into Aries, Trump raised the tariffs, and now I said, well, that's going to affect shipping companies, and heard something about an oil refinery, and then now Neptune is very close to the ingress. How close is it to the ingress? Because I think it's about to ingress. Neptune. No, we have some almost. We have 27 minutes in Pisces before Neptune ingresses into Aries. Okay, not too far, and then Saturn follows. So, while watching a video about exploiting Africa, Mama asks if I want tea, but I'm cooking a lot of tea, so I said no, thank you. And then she says you have to hear what Trump did. And now I'm kind of almost forced to talk about Venezuela. Of course, it's not negating my wish to see what the heck is going on there. And I need to buy these for oil. I invest in this type of oil. Venezuela, let's go to the 1500s. 1500 chart. They have ascendant and Venus, 17 degrees Virgo, and Pluto on the descendant, which means they have toxic enemies since the 1500s. Moon is where Neptune is, which means that Neptune is dissolving something the people of Venezuela had to surrender. In that case, it was their leader. Or their government. Ascendant in midheaven ruled by Mercury. Mercury is in the 12th house with the Sun. It means leaders in exile. And indeed, they got kidnapped. Neptune that could rule kidnapped, particularly with Mars in Gemini with the midheaven. Midheaven 18 degrees, so some toxic leader got kidnapped. Neptune is on the moon. Jupiter is 1 degree Scorpio, and Rahu is 27 degrees Libra. Ketu is having a Chiron Aries conjunction with Ketu. Aries is the 8th house, which means in that case the oil, which they are purging right now with Aries and Chiron. They're purging the physical manifestation of the oil. Don't worry, NATO has Rahu there if we asked to whom? Mark Rutte Oak has Aries 8th house, but not Rahu and Ketu, just the moon. Anyways, and the world looks like an Emir Kusturica movie. Uranus 17 degrees Sag, which means that Venezuela, when Uranus was first delving into Gemini, both Venezuela and NATO have entered their NATO have entered Uranus return. Venezuela has entered Uranus opposition, and Trump, of course, it's going to be Uranus return for Trump, and Trump is doing the deed, kind of signaling to NATO that they still want to befriend United States. Now is the question, does NATO own oil in Venezuela or oil refineries that are linked to Venezuela? And the reason is because you see, we're going to know that probably on Valentine's Day, because Trump has pulled the leash off NATO, saying, I don't want to fund these guys anymore. Mark Rutte says, well, I'm not relying just on Europe. Now is the question, Venezuela, of NATO, of NIT? Now, I know the same question about Singapore. You said, but Singapore is nothing. The world is changing. Israel, Palestine, Jordan, Lebanon, Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Egypt. Now that Israel had become besties with Somaliland and Turkey, has beef with the oil in the Dead Sea. I mean, with everything that is above the oil, the oil can. Lilith, 21 degrees Aquarius. So we're basically having Neptune activation to the moon, which is the people, Chiron and Aries going over the Ketu, which means they were not included up until now in purging the oil in the oil. Now they're included. Now they're included. Yes. Also, my Mercury is there. So, but I don't live in Venezuela. Uranus ingress to Gemini. I believe this is going to stir up rare earth minerals polarity discussion, particularly around Congo, in NATO, which I predicted already before. The eclipses with Rahu in Pisces were really accentuating the enemies and partners, enemies and allies of Venezuela. Pluto 18 degrees can mean powerful enemies that are also quite evil or toxic or poisonous. Let's just put it that way. So Pluto in Aquarius is the 6th house, which means also powerful enemies of Venezuela. And in that case, this definitely goes to that sort of changes. Now let's look at the other chart of Venezuela. Me here trying to make ethical money. in a world where even the finest of resources are polluted by means of production and distribution and refinery. And that includes essential oils, by the way. I don't fool myself that my, let's say, rose essential oil has, okay, or I don't know, the crystals or whatnot, let's say kyanite or whatnot. Now, this is another chart. This is a more recent chart since 1811, 1800, and this time we have ascendant in Mars, 26 degrees Scorpio, Uranus in Scorpio, Neptune in Sag, Neptune 8 degrees Sag, Saturn Mula Nakshatra, which can mean limitation but also structure that has the wealth of the world and is considered in the 12th house, so Mula Nakshatra, Saturn. It also means to me that there are minerals and rocks, more so than oil even. Saturn is ruling over Capricorn, which is people, Moon in Capricorn, and Aquarius, which would be the 4th house, again, people. So the people are the big wealth, the big skill, okay? The people have a lot of skill, but they want a structure that ensures their freedom. And yet Jupiter is in the 8th house, given a lot of trauma, trials, and tribulations just around this topic and around the hidden resources of the country, which means to me more minerals, rare earth minerals, more so than fossils, gas, and so on and so forth. So if you think the looting is for the oil, I say it's not. Okay? 8th house Gemini, which means the civil war clock is going to be around the resources in Venezuela. Again, they're purging the oil, but it's going to be a big issue around the rare earth minerals, and that's going to create almost a civil war. Saturn here is structure, but people don't want to be enslaved, which is another signification of Saturn. The mining of the rare earth minerals, the mining even around the oil refineries. There will be a civil war on a slavery regarding the oil refineries, because the people in Venezuela, they can do with one leader or another, but they want a structure that ensures their freedom. They're willing to work hard for a good passive income. It's going to be exponentially growing, and it is also the source of their trauma. But while they're hard workers, skilled, freedom-oriented, and aware of the wealth of the world, they will not be enslaved. And we're going to have a case that is almost like the Swedish case, where they wanted to mine their own minerals and had to provide, and in tax we trust came because they had to provide. They couldn't enslave some other people in the mines. They had to actually provide for social welfare. We have a similar case here with Venezuela. And people say, no, we don't. Prepare for a civil war. And the people of Venezuela are very skilled people. They're freedom-oriented. They want passive income. Mercury in its home sign. They're cunning. They're technological. They're aware. They can acquire languages. They will go with a certain option and will stick with it to the end. Is the last decan of Gemini. Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury, okay, there is a desire for having a freedom to the children, to the women, which, by the way, caused a lot of trauma. So those that are thinking to take over the natural resources, and here I say, you talk about the oil, they're going to be purging the oil. It's rare earth minerals here, but highly skilled, highly technological people, they can both mine and refine. Even to build an oil refinery, we need minerals. So these people, we got the local people that are skilled to do the job. But here is the thing. They will not be enslaved. They're hard workers. They would not be enslaved. They need to have freedom. They need to have equity. They need to have passive income from their own hands. Okay? That's the thing. And that's the thing that I don't know if Trump is aware of. He has Uranus in their 8th house. I don't know if Trump is aware of. This is not for working camps, that kind of thing. Okay? Pluto, 18 degrees, same degree. This is basically the Pluto return for Venezuela was another declaration of independence. Okay, you can see that. Same degree, on the degree. But this one is in the 5th house, again ruled by Jupiter. Pluto tells me here they have oil. And not only they have oil, it's fun for them to drill it. They have a hobby of to do with that oil, okay? But this is underwater cities or next to the ocean cities. And they want to be free. Midheaven, 25 degrees. Leo, ruled by the sun. Sun in the 9th house, exalted sun. Leaders of people, people are leaders. The state of the moon is not too well, but the sun is of the people. So leaders and people suffer from this moon that is in Capricorn. Okay, Palestinians, for example, Hamas has moon in Capricorn, and the people under Hamas suffer tremendously. Now, I talked about it, and I talked about the astrological consideration, Declaration of Independence. I said any election that's picking a bad moon, okay, all the people that pick that election is gonna suffer. Not just the people are gonna suffer. The moon is the manifesting factor. Okay, if we're not, this is how it's almost the structure listed at. If we're not good to the people, now moon needs nourishment. Okay, rape is not nourishment. What harms the endocrine system, fertility system? Toxins, rape, all those things, okay? They're not good for the moon. They're not good for everyone. Nobody is exempt from the implications when it comes to picking a bad moon in astrological election. This is why the idea of having astrological elections for declaration of independence with a bad moon, because the moon is the people, they always fall flat, and now we see how they fall flat, okay? People having to purge their intergenerational wealth. Aristocracy has to purge the nobility. And people get addicted on the wealth. They don't have actual nourishment. King of the greatest empire in the world, had cancer. Why he had cancer? He didn't have enough amaranth. Didn't have enough. Entire British. He had bad habits. Why did he have bad habits? With not good upbringing, as the kingdom cannot raise the children with nourishment and love. Okay. As said, but so now here's the thing. Neptune in Scorpio. Neptune is what we surrender. Scorpio has to do with taboos and sex. And the deviant sexuality, that also, how should I say it, the dog days are over. And it came from that time. That time there was the true seers that were, okay, the people born with that onset. I think only now are coming to understand that some people have sexual liberation in else ways. And maybe people in their 60s and so on, even more kind of like, oh well, there is sex we didn't know. Yes, it's called will and consent. It's called respecting a yes, no, and maybe. It's called self-trust. It's called nourishment. It's actual nourishment. A different type of liberation. It's not about virtual vice. And but Neptune, this is the thing that people in their mid 60s having their Neptune trine, okay? And Neptune has to do with eroticism. I'm having my Neptune square, so I feel like, why no good sex for me? Why can't I just relax into? Okay, Neptune has to do with eroticism. Neptune square can be a crisis of where, wait a second, I did all the shadow work in the world and so on. So where is my good sex? They all orgasming all that. I don't know, zoophilia, schmophilia. I don't like that type of sex. Yes. No, thank you. Um, okay. Um, and so, and that has to do with structure because Neptune in Capricorn and Neptune squaring from Mars, which is real estate. And I'm like, well, a home where is it's a necessity, you see. They gotta make housing and houses for me. Um, what more do I see in this chart? Well, now is Rahu Ketu reversal for Venezuela's 1800 chart. And this is happening from the 5th to the 11th. So they're purging their, how should I say that? Rahu, first of all, is actually materializing something to do with oil. They're materializing very likely the infrastructure to refine oil, which necessitates raw rare minerals, and they're gonna have a civil war clock on the minerals. And it's exactly what that. Well, you're in a Gemini. Right now, Uranus is in Taurus. So right now, there's having this fight with enemies that kidnapped the rulers to take over the oil. But around the oil mining itself, okay, to kidnap leaders, less of a problem. To deal with people, a bit more a bit more difficult. Um, because the leaders are raised in treason cults. And the ones that kidnap them are the people in the treason cults, okay? Those with them. They're not kidnapped by the people. So Uranus is actually going over the descendant of 1800 chart Venezuela. And so we see that as divorce. Okay, a rebellion against the ascendant of Venezuela. Rebellion against Venezuela. Mars at its home sign with the ascendant. And that would be to do with Venus. Venezuela has to ask itself, its 12th house would be Libra, which is Venus ruled. Again, how rapey was Venezuela to women in hospitals, jails, bedrooms, okay? Even the people to the women in bedroom, in spirit and in matter, the dream state. If it was, there are other people that can take over the all. If it wasn't, it's gonna have easier time maintaining sovereignty, even by changing the leaders.